You might be wondering, if avoidants want to call me, does it really mean they care? Understanding this is crucial, because avoidants are naturally complex. They feel deeply, sometimes more intensely than most people, but they struggle to express those emotions openly. Their feelings are strong, yet they are filtered through fear, past experiences, and the need to maintain independence. That's why when avoidants reach out, through calls, messages, or attempts to connect, it often feels confusing, and it's easy to misinterpret what they truly want. When avoidants decide to call you, it's rarely random. It's a signal, a subtle indication that you are on their mind, that they want connection, or that they need to share something important, but they rarely communicate directly. Avoidants weigh every word, every tone, and every pause. The true meaning behind their call is often hidden beneath the surface, and without awareness you can easily misunderstand them. To handle this properly, you need patience, observation, and emotional clarity. You need to notice their actions without overreacting, and understand the difference between attention and genuine emotional engagement. By seeing the truth behind an avoidance call, you put yourself in a position of emotional strength. You don't get caught in confusion or overinvestment. Instead, you maintain clarity, self-respect, and control over your responses. In this video, you'll learn exactly what avoidants want to say when they call, why they hesitate, and how you should respond in a way that keeps you grounded, respected, and emotionally secure. Pay close attention, because decoding these calls correctly will change how you understand avoidance and your interactions with them. Recognizing the real meaning behind their attempts to reach out is the first step toward clarity and balance in your connection. Why avoidants wait to call? Avoidants experience emotions deeply, but their way of expressing those feelings is fundamentally different from others. When they feel something strongly, it doesn't automatically translate into words, calls, or actions. Every interaction is filtered through a careful internal process. Before they decide to reach out to you, they go through a silent negotiation in their mind, a push and pull between desire and fear, connection and self-protection. Understanding this is key to interpreting their behavior accurately and without overreaction. When an avoidant wants to call you, hesitation is almost always present. You may notice long pauses before they finally pick up the phone or even initiate contact. This hesitation isn't a sign of disinterest, and it isn't a game. It is their system working to manage the intensity of their feelings. They are asking themselves, if I call, will I lose control of my emotions? Can I allow vulnerability without feeling exposed? Can I handle what might happen if I express how I feel? These thoughts reflect the internal struggle that occurs every time they consider reaching out. They feel drawn to you, but the idea of fully opening themselves creates a weight they must carefully navigate. Many people misinterpret this delay as a lack of care or commitment. When you notice an avoidant waiting, it's easy to think they don't care or they are losing interest. The truth is, the pause is about self-regulation, not your value. Avoidants measure their emotional bandwidth carefully. They calculate whether the timing is safe and consider how much of themselves they can share without feeling overwhelmed. Your presence matters to them, but they balance their desire to connect with their need to protect themselves. Avoidants process attachment differently than someone who expresses feelings openly. If they call impulsively, it risks emotional exposure, which they naturally avoid. Even when they think of you often, their calls are deliberate, delayed, or sporadic. This isn't distance, it's caution. When they do reach out, it signals that you matter enough for them to navigate the vulnerability involved. Control and independence are also factors. Calling someone they care about may feel like surrendering part of their autonomy, yet they choose to do it, showing that you are significant enough to temporarily compromise that independence. Every call, pause, and carefully chosen word reflects consideration, not casual attention. It communicates you matter, and I am navigating my boundaries to be with you. Understanding this prevents misinterpretation. When you realize hesitation isn't disinterest, you avoid panic, neediness, or overanalyzing. You remain grounded and allow them the space to reach out when ready, which strengthens their attachment. High-value individuals recognize that patience is power. Finally, see their hesitation in the context of emotional regulation. Avoidants weigh the intensity of their feelings, predict outcomes, and ensure the interaction won't overwhelm them. Each call is intentional, meaningful, and filtered through caution. When an avoidant finally reaches out, it's deliberate and signals their genuine emotional interest. Recognizing this helps you understand that their wait is not emptiness, but a sign of true care and importance. What they really want to say when avoidants call, it is rarely casual. Unlike people who reach out impulsively or for convenience, avoidants call with intention. Every word, pause and hesitation carries meaning. When you understand this, you realize that a call from an avoidant is not just about hearing a voice, it is them trying to communicate something deeper, and that something is almost always rooted in attachment, desire, and careful emotional navigation. Avoidants want clarity about their feelings, but this clarity doesn't come easily. They don't rush to name emotions, express dependency, or declare love outright. Their internal system constantly negotiates between two forces, the pull of attachment toward you and the instinct to protect themselves from vulnerability. That is why when they finally pick up the phone, the words they choose are measured. They are trying to show how much you matter without exposing themselves fully to emotional overwhelm. Every sentence reflects careful consideration. They are revealing their internal state while avoiding what they perceive as dangerous emotional exposure. When avoidants call, they want you to know that you are important. This isn't about drama, attention-seeking, or impulsive emotion. It is about registering your presence in their internal world. They might hint at feelings, imply attachment subtly, or acknowledge your significance in understated ways. These small gestures carry immense weight. They show that your presence affects them emotionally, and that they are willing to navigate their fears to connect with you. Avoidants are careful not to overwhelm or create tension. Their calls often include pauses, deliberate word choices, and thoughtful phrasing. They manage their nervous system while trying to communicate attachment. Each moment of silence is intentional. It allows them to regulate emotions and avoid overexposure. If you recognize that every pause and measured word carries meaning, you stop misinterpreting hesitation as indifference or manipulation. You see it as genuine, cautious desire. Avoidants also want reassurance, but not in the way you might expect. They call not to fish for validation but to see how their feelings resonate with reality, with you. Your calm presence and willingness to engage without panic make them feel safe expressing themselves. The call becomes a space where they test connection while maintaining autonomy. When avoidants call, they are opening a window into their internal world without surrendering control. They want to communicate attachment, not dependency. They want to show care, not give up autonomy. When you remain grounded, steady, and emotionally stable, you validate their cautious outreach. Avoidants rarely express feelings in conventional terms. They hint, imply, or frame emotions indirectly. This is not deception, it is self-preservation. They are testing subtly, revealing cautiously. If you observe and respond with calmness rather than insecurity, you will understand the truth behind their words. In short, when avoidants call, they want to share emotions deliberately. They want clarity about their feelings. They want you to know you are important. They are not seeking drama or superficial connection. They are communicating attachment in a way that aligns with their need for safety and emotional regulation. Recognizing this allows you to respond with calm clarity and confidence, reinforcing the connection while protecting your own emotional stability. Hidden emotions behind the call. Every call from avoidance carries more than the words they speak. Behind the lines, the pauses, and the careful phrasing lies an intricate emotional conflict. Avoidants are wired to want connection, yet at the same time they fear the vulnerability that genuine connection brings. When they call you, they walk a tightrope, balancing the desire to express attachment with the instinct to protect themselves emotionally. When you understand this, you start seeing their calls not as casual or confusing, but as windows into their internal struggle. Avoidants show attachment in subtle, measured, and indirect ways. They don't say everything outright. They don't shout their feelings or demand reciprocity. Instead, they reveal that you matter through small signals, their choice of words, the timing of the call, the careful attention to tone, and the pauses between sentences. These pauses are not mistakes or manipulation. They are evidence of internal negotiation. Each pause reflects a calculation. How much do I share without feeling exposed? How much can I reveal without losing control? Observing these nuances gives you insight into their attachment and shows that their distance is not rejection. The internal struggle is constant. Avoidants want closeness, emotional connection, and meaningful interaction with you. Yet, their nervous system triggers caution. Vulnerability feels risky, and emotional intensity can feel overwhelming. That is why even when they pick up the phone to call you, you may notice them holding back, testing the waters, or speaking cautiously. This is a hallmark of avoidant psychology, the need to protect themselves while maintaining attachment. You might wonder why they hesitate to be fully open. Avoidants have often learned from past experiences that emotional exposure can bring discomfort, rejection, or loss of control. Their pauses, hesitations, and subtle distance are coping mechanisms, a way to stay engaged with you while safeguarding autonomy. Recognizing this allows you to interpret their actions accurately, without assuming disinterest or manipulation. Their caution is a sign that your presence matters, their desire is real, their care exists, even when it is carefully regulated. Hesitation and pauses are the most revealing aspects of their calls. A moment of silence after a sensitive topic, a carefully chosen word, or a delayed response does not indicate disinterest, it indicates the weight of attachment being processed internally. They constantly calculate how to communicate without emotional overwhelm. When you notice this, you can distinguish between superficial interaction and true emotional significance. Their distance during the call is also purposeful. Avoidants maintain boundaries as self-protection. This distance is not about you being unwanted, it is about regulating attachment and emotional intensity. Understanding this allows you to remain calm, composed, and grounded. You don't need to panic, chase, or overanalyze. Instead, you observe, interpret, and respond from clarity. Remaining calm and emotionally steady creates a safe space for avoidants to reveal more. Your composure allows them to show vulnerability in small increments. Every pause and carefully chosen phrase becomes a signal of attachment, not distance. In conclusion, every call from avoidance is layered with hidden emotions. They want connection but fear vulnerability. They show attachment while maintaining boundaries. Hesitation and pauses reveal internal struggle. Their distance is not rejection, it's self-protection. By staying calm, observant, and grounded, you can see the true feelings beneath their guarded behavior. You understand the intentionality behind each word, silence and pause, and respond with confidence, emotional stability, and high-value presence, the very qualities that allow avoidance to feel safe, revealing attachment and care to you. How you should respond when avoidants call. Your response can either deepen the connection or push them away. Many people instinctively react with panic, overthinking, or impatience, and in doing so they unknowingly sabotage the very attachment avoidants are attempting to communicate. Understanding how to respond is crucial because avoidants value emotional stability, patience, and respect for boundaries over drama, force, or urgency. First and foremost, don't panic. When avoidants call, your mind may race with questions. Why now? Are they upset? Do they want something? These thoughts create unnecessary tension. Avoidants are highly sensitive to emotional energy. If they sense anxiety, neediness, or panic, it triggers their protective instincts and may cause them to pull back. A calm, grounded response communicates security. It tells them that you are stable, emotionally regulated, and not reactive. This stability encourages them to relax and open up more. Next, don't pressure them. Avoidants are naturally cautious with emotional expression. Pressuring them to explain feelings, commit, or express attachment before they are ready often backfires. Statements like, "Why are you calling now?" or "You need to tell me what you're feeling," can feel invasive or threatening to their emotional boundaries. Instead, let them speak at their own pace. Listen attentively and allow pauses without interruption. Your restraint signals respect for their emotional autonomy, which they value deeply. Listen and acknowledge without overreacting. Avoidants may share something carefully chosen or significant, testing how safe the emotional space is. By acknowledging their words calmly, without dramatizing or immediately analyzing, you reinforce safety. Simple statements like, "I hear you" or "I understand what you're saying," carry weight. They communicate validation without overwhelming them. Avoidants are drawn to people who provide emotional clarity without creating chaos. Overreacting, arguing, or forcing conversation may trigger withdrawal. Even if the call was meant to express attachment, your calm presence makes them feel safe. Avoidants are highly attuned to emotional cues, and your emotional regulation directly affects how freely they can express themselves. Maintaining steady composure allows avoidants to communicate without fear of judgment, escalation, or loss of control. This safety encourages them to stay attached rather than retreat. The more patience and stability you demonstrate, the more they feel secure showing vulnerability over time. Finally, respect their emotional pace. Avoidants don't operate on schedules dictated by others. Their emotional process is deliberate, protective, and cautious. By meeting them where they are, neither forcing closeness nor withdrawing to manipulate, you create an environment where their attachment can grow naturally. Pressuring, testing, or demanding immediate clarity breaks this delicate process. Avoidants value patience, calm, and consistent emotional safety above all. In summary, when avoidants call, your response should be calm, patient, and observant. Don't panic, don't pressure them. Listen and acknowledge without overreacting. Respect their pace. Your steady presence provides safety, reinforces attachment, and allows their carefully managed emotions to emerge without fear. Responding this way positions you as someone who understands emotional dynamics, preserves your own stability, and strengthens the connection with avoidants who value security and trust above all. Remember, an avoidance call is always a signal, not a guarantee. It is a deliberate act, carefully measured and weighed before it happens. Avoidants are constantly balancing their desire to connect with the fear of vulnerability, which means each call is filtered through hesitation, internal negotiation, and self-protection. Just because they reach out doesn't mean they are ready to fully open, commit, or express everything they feel. Their communication is intentional, subtle, and layered, a reflection of the attachment they feel while still guarding themselves emotionally. Your role when an avoidant calls is not to fix, push, or overanalyze. It is to observe and stay grounded. You need to recognize what they are expressing while maintaining your own emotional stability. Responding with calm presence, patience, and clarity allows avoidants to navigate their internal struggle safely. It signals that you are a steady, non-reactive force, someone whose presence they can register without fear of judgment or emotional overwhelm. Over-investing, panicking, or demanding reassurance only triggers withdrawal and disrupts the delicate balance they are managing. Keep in mind that hesitation is normal for avoidance. Pauses, delays, and careful word choices are not signs of indifference, they are signs of internal processing. If you can observe and interpret these behaviors without overreacting, you will gain insight into their emotional world and understand the depth of attachment hidden behind their guarded exterior. Your clarity allows you to interact with avoidants in a way that encourages connection without compromising your own stability. If this video helped you understand avoidance better, take action now. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more insights, and comment "I see it now." Recognizing the signals behind their calls is the first step toward emotional control, clarity, and empowered interactions with avoidants. Stay grounded, respect their pace, and your presence will naturally reinforce their attachment.